In this lesson, we're going to continue to discuss graphics. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 1203, a look inside the Links panel, and just click Open. Occasionally, when you open an InDesign file, you'll get a warning that's telling you that the document contains links to sources that are missing, or possibly modified. Why don't we click OK? And let's see what's going on in the Links panel. If you go under your Window menu to Links, it'll open the Links panel. You can see that there's a lot of images that are missing. It did find a couple of them. The missing ones have the question mark icon, and it's telling me that if I double click, I can relink that image. All of these images are used more than once in our document. I can tell by the little disclosure arrow. If I click that, you'll see that this image is used on page 1 and 2. Let me double click on the question mark to see what happens. It's going to tell me to find this particular missing link. If I go into my Links panel to a folder that's called _1203_missing_links, the file is someplace in this folder. It happens to be the very first image, 73_2541802.jpg. Now, I could just click Open, and it's going to find that one image. But in this case, there's a checkbox that's checked that says search for missing links in this folder. This will find all of the missing links that happen to be in that same folder. I'm going to click Open, and it's relinking to each one of the images that it finds in this folder, and it's letting me know that it relinked to 8 of the missing links. I'm going to click OK, but it looks like it didn't find 2 of the missing links. There's a question mark next to this one and this one. Let me click on this particular listing, and I'm going to click the Relink button. I could just double click on the question mark or click on the broken link icon, and it's going to open that same window. Well, why didn't it find this file? Here's the file right here, but the name has changed. You can see that I added NAME to the file name. Let me just click Open, and now it's going to relink to that file. And you can see that there's a lot of images here that have actually been modified. They had been flipped in Photoshop. So I'm going to have to move these images around manually to recenter them, or flip them in InDesign itself. Let me select this other image and click on the Relink icon. Here's the image right here with the changed name, and I'm just going to click Open. And you can see that too flipped around. It had been modified, and InDesign saw that right away as it was relinking to that particular photo, and it flipped it for me. What else can I do in the Links panel? Well, sometimes you'll open a layout and InDesign will find the images, but they had been modified. Well, if they've just been modified, you would see an icon that's a yellow triangle with an exclamation mark next to that particular listing that had been modified. I could just double click on that yellow triangle to update the image. Or I could click on the Update icon down the bottom of the panel, which is now grayed out because nothing has been modified. It already fixed that problem automatically when it relinked to the images. With a particular image selected, let me just click that little disclosure arrow next to one of the images and click on an image. If I wanted to find that image within the document, all I need to do is select the listing and click on Go to Link down the bottom of the panel, and you can see it actually selected it for me on page 1. If I wanted to see the image on page 2, I could just click on this little underlined 2 to go to the same image on page 2. What if I wanted to open Photoshop and make changes to this particular image? I could click on the little pencil icon, which is Edit Original. There's also a lot of options under the Options menu of the Links panel. if I click down on the little downturned arrow, I could relink here, but it's more likely I'm going to do it by clicking on the Broken Links button. I could relink to a particular folder. What is that about? Let's say in my layout, I'm using low-resolution versions of the images. And when I'm going to print, I'm going to relink to another folder that has files of the same name, only in high resolution. So I could relink to that folder, and all of the images will update to the high-resolution versions of the images. I could also relink to a file extension. Let me choose that. Let's say in one folder, I have my JPEGs that I'm currently using in this layout, and they're low resolution. Well, I could relink to a file extension. So instead of using all JPEGs, it would relink to the high-res PSDs within the same folder. All I have to do is click relink. I'm just going to click cancel. What other options do I have? I can go to a particular link, which I mentioned earlier. You can do that right in the panel itself by clicking on the Go to Link icon. I could edit the original, so it would open the image in the default image application. Or let's say I have several versions of Photoshop on this particular computer, and I wanted to open the image in an older version of Photoshop. I could use Edit With and choose that particular version. I could also reveal where the image is on my computer. On a Mac, it's Reveal in Finder. On a PC, it's Reveal in Explorer. I could also reveal where the image is in Bridge or Mini Bridge. Why don't I choose in Bridge? It's going to select that image in Bridge so I know exactly where it is. Let me get Bridge out of the way and get back to the Links folder. Under Utilities, there's a command that is Copy Links To. I can create a folder that it would copy the links to so I could use them in another layout. Or maybe I just want to collect the images to send them to somebody else. This is an easy way to do that. There's also a lot of information about the selected listing in the links folder. It's letting me know that it's a 72 pixel per inch image, yet it's being used so small in the layout that its effective pixels per inch is 508, which is way more than the 300 pixels per inch that are necessary for print. And it's also giving me the exact pixel dimensions and what the creator program is, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of information about this particular link or any other selected link. In the next lesson, we're going to continue to discuss graphics.